This program is made possible by a generous donation from Raceway Ford in Riverside. Raceway Ford would like to take this opportunity to thank the community and our customers for their continued support. As the premier Ford dealership in the Riverside and Inland Empire area, we are proud to say that we've served the transportation needs of Southern California residents for over 25 years with an attitude of integrity and a commitment to our customers and our community. Get the car you want at the price you want today. Raceway Ford in Riverside, your community dealership. And by the All-Tech Media Group, the region's leading multimedia video production and marketing company, creating powerful and innovative marketing strategies that deliver exponential returns.
I'm your host, Kerry Pendergast, and I'm pleased to bring you another edition of RCBN News Magazine's Nonprofit Showcase. In today's show, we will visit with Kathy Mahalik, Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity Riverside, which is part of a global nonprofit housing organization. Habitat for Humanity is recognized worldwide for its efforts and commitment to creating a world in which everyone has a decent place to live. Their mission statement, seeking to put God's love into action, Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. Nowhere is it more visible than in the number of homes they have either built or renovated right here in the Riverside County. Each home built creates a pathway for a family to participate in the joy and awesome responsibility associated with home ownership. I'm certain that most of our viewers operate on the assumption that building houses is the primary focus for Habitat for Humanity. But in reviewing the organization's guiding principles, it's clear that there are a host of other things that Habitat for Humanity is involved in as well. It's my hope that by the end of the show, Kathy will bring us up to speed on the many programs and projects that Habitat is immersed in. But before we get started, I want to thank today's sponsor, Raceway Ford Riverside, for the vital role they play in exposing our viewers to the important role nonprofit organizations play in our community. Raceway Ford salutes those organizations that have a proud history of service to the communities they serve. So Kathy, it's a pleasure to have you on today's show. And as someone who's personally participated in a build, I know the excitement that goes along with not only participating in the build, but to be there when that keys are turned over to the family, and you see the excitement that goes with those keys as they move into the home. And so with that, I know that as you and I spoke, we talked about the essential part of Habitat, which historically has been building homes. But I know that there are a lot of other things that have taken place, kind of evolved as the organization has grown. And so I'm hoping that by the end of today's show, we will kind of capture some of the new exciting things that you're doing that certainly are parallel what you're doing with respect to building houses and getting people in them. And so if we can accomplish that today, and I think give our viewers a little insight, or maybe a little bit more insight into what's going on, I think we will have done our job today.
Thanks, Kerry, for inviting me and having some conversation ahead of time about this. I think I mentioned to you when we talked first that there are usually two myths that I talk about very quickly when I'm talking to people about Habitat. One is a lot of people really believe that Jimmy Carter started Habitat for Humanity, and he didn't. He's probably our most famous volunteer and still out there, him and Rosalind together, still out there on Jimmy Carter work builds, hammering nails, all over the country, all over the world, as a matter of fact. And the second myth is that that we give the homes away. That's not true. These families buy the homes. They buy them at an affordable price, and that's really Habitat's wheelhouse. We are able to build the home together with the community and with other partners so that it's an affordable home. And we hold the mortgage in most cases. Habitat will hold the mortgage at a 0% interest, which makes it affordable for a lower income family to get into that, kind of cross that bridge into the middle class. And that's really our goal, is to help people build their wealth through real estate and have a safe, decent, affordable home to live in.
Well, that's interesting, and I think it certainly has been a perception that the houses are just simply turned over and there's really not any real tangible contributions that are being made by those that are getting the homes. And I know there's a whole set of steps that they have to go through prior to your turning the keys over. Maybe you can kind of explain to us what some of those steps are.
Okay, I'd love to talk through that. And as a follow-up on the first question you had, we have changed a lot. It used to be that we only built houses. That was all we did. What we realized as we were growing as an organization across the country is that there are homeowners who struggle to keep up their homes, either because of changes in circumstances or their age. Amazing number of seniors who are still living in their homes but can't afford to keep it up, fix it up, make it accessible for them. So we have programs, things like a program we call Aging in Place, where we work with seniors who can't afford to fix up the inside of their home by themselves. We'll go in and help them with members of the community. We have something we call a Brush with Kindness, which allows us to really expand our volunteer efforts. As an affiliate, Habitat Riverside does probably 80 programs a year, projects a year, where we go in and help a homeowner take care of code violations or issues on the outside where they, especially seniors, they can't afford to fix it up and keep it up, but they do better if they stay in their own home. So we go in with a group of volunteers and work on the outside of their house. We've partnered up with most of the cities that we work in. So code enforcement will call us when they find a senior that's having a difficult time, or a homeowner that's having a difficult time financially. And we'll see if we can partner up with them. They have to help.
Right.
And for seniors, and that's a core part of our mission, is there's either a payback arrangement or they do some of the sweat equity. With seniors, it's a little more difficult. So a lot of times I'll get the seniors, they love to bake. A lot of I'll get them to take care of lunch for the volunteers, or work outside with the volunteers, just kind of
to be a part of it.
Just to be involved with the volunteers. And that's huge, because that makes the volunteers feel like I'm helping somebody who really needs it, and it's important to give back, and it lights that fire for volunteerism. So, but with our new homeowners, when they agree to partner up with Habitat, we identify the house we're building first, then we identify a family. When they are approved by the board and partnered up, they agree to do 500 hours of sweat equity on that new build.
Which is significant.
That's a lot of time when you think about it. Especially since most of our builds go fairly quickly. Once we break ground, once we get the concrete pad poured, it can be less than 3 months before that house is finished. Depending on, it goes pretty fast. So they work a number of things. They'll help with other people's houses. They'll help with their own house. They'll help in the restore. They can work in the affiliate offices. And remember, most of these people also have full-time jobs. Well, they all have full-time jobs because they have to repay a mortgage. So they're working those hours in between on their days off and as their schedule allows them. They also agree to participate in our home buyer classes. So we take them through a series of classes around financial literacy. We often partner up with a bank. Most of our banks are in the area are great with partnering up with us to do financial literacy training. We do home repair classes. They learn how to take care of their house before they actually become a homeowner. Before we give them the keys, they know where all the pipes are. They know where not to plug a long nail in.
Right.
They know how to take care of their appliances, their minor home repairs. We have actually even teach them how to patch a drywall, a hole in the drywall. Made a little bit too big a hole with that picture you hung. Know how to patch it and take care of it. We actually have a class that talks about transitioning to the future. So now you're a homeowner, now what? You know, what do you do after you become a homeowner? When you bought your first house, and you were in banking, I know, so you know this, but as soon as you sign on, as soon as that deed is recorded, you get inundated with mail, junk mail, everything and anything you can think of. And so what do you do? How do you sort through that stuff? Which are real things that you really need to take care of and things that you tear up and throw in the trash?
Right.
Yeah, so
Well,
a lot of that.
And I think obviously the financial literacy is certainly a big part of the success of the program, because you and I were talking before the show. There was an article that came out in the press here several weeks ago, and it was really speaking to the program, and more particularly to foreclosure rates, and the number of foreclosures that you've had since the program started in Riverside is, I mean, it's really not even measurable when you stack it up to what's happened in the overall economy from 2009 forward. So I think that speaks a lot to making sure that you have people that are really prepared and understand what they're getting into. And then I know you have, or correct me, but I believe you have some opportunities for intervention if people are struggling and having problems.
Absolutely. One of the things that the advantages of having partner families where you really know them and you get to know them very well as you're doing the sweat equity is that we build those relationships. So if they are struggling for something, everybody, especially in this downturn, you imagine how many of our Habitat homeowners were at risk. We have had incidences where they'll call and they'll say, Kathy, I know I'm going to have a problem. I got laid off and it's going to be a little while before I can get up to date. We can work with them as long as they approach us first, and not us having to go after them 3 months down the line.
Which is kind of what
the banks end up doing.
Well, and what the counseling, the initial counseling is
exactly.
all about.
They know. Call first, let us know, keep us in the loop, and we'll work with them with their payments, mortgage payments, which really helps. And every single time that we've worked with a homeowner, they got caught up, they got taken care of, they're back on track.
From a time standpoint, have you found that you're able to touch more potential families that will become owners by rehabbing properties as opposed to doing just full build outs, or is it kind of a mixed bag? It's
really a mix right now, especially. We did a lot of foreclosures during the crises. We were able to, in specific neighborhoods, we really focused on neighborhoods that were very high foreclosure rates. And we were able to pick up homes through bank foreclosures at a reasonable rate. We totally rehabbed them and turned them around and resold them. Kind of getting priced out of that market now.
Right.
It's starting to build again, and
so the economy is back.
So it's actually, as long as we're able to get land either donated or purchased at a reasonable price, we can. It's probably more effective for us to build new now. Things we're working very hard on now, especially in California, is working with other Habitat affiliates, advocating in Sacramento for policies that will help build housing trusts, maybe land trusts that would allow us to keep affordable housing in the mix.
This program is made possible by a generous donation from Raceway Ford in Riverside. Raceway Ford would like to take this opportunity to thank the community and our customers for their continued support. As the premier Ford dealership in the Riverside and Inland Empire area, we are proud to say that we've served the transportation needs of Southern California residents for over 25 years with an attitude of integrity and a commitment to our customers and our community. Get the car you want at the price you want today. Raceway Ford in Riverside, your community dealership.
I know that you're involved in some programs now that also are centered around veterans. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We live in a county that has one of the largest concentrations of veterans in the country as a percentage of the population. So it's important to us, and it has been for quite some time. I think our first veterans specific build was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago at least. and was very successful in Harupa Valley, a couple of veterans. And now we've actually partnered up with CalVet to build what we're calling a residential enriched neighborhood for 26 veterans. 26 veteran families will have be able to own their own single-family home in a development in Harupa Valley, right off Mission Boulevard. We're pretty excited about it. It's the biggest project we've done. We finished a project of 8 homes in Moreno Valley this year, just a regular build. So that was a really good opportunity for us to learn what it's like to be a developer instead of a single home at a time, building 8 at once. Actually, we built 12 homes last year, which is really interesting.
How does CalVet participate in that?
CalVet will actually fund the loans. They will hold the loan for the veterans.
Okay.
The first trust deed. If there's a silent second or additional financing, Habitat would fill that gap. But they will hold the first trust deed, which is great because it gives the veterans a chance to use their GI Bill. And they're low-income veteran families, so they would probably not qualify for a conventional VA loan, but they will for this.
But is that somewhat different than if they were doing a home directly with Habitat, in that you're basically providing them with interest-free mortgages? How does that compare to the CalVet program?
The CalVet program will be a very low interest rate mortgage. And the Habitat will still be involved because we will probably hold the silent second. We will hold the silent second. So whatever they qualify with CalVet, the first trustee will fill the gap with a silent second. So as they stay in the home, the way it works is as they make their payments on time and stay in the home, then we forgive part of that second. So by the end of that 30 years, their silent second's gone, they own the home. They could sell the home in between, but in this particular community, if they sell before 10 years, it will have to be sold to another veteran. So we'll still be involved.
That's a great. It sounds like a very, very good program.
And the reason they call it an enriched neighborhood, and the reason CalVet calls it an enriched neighborhood, is Habitat will provide for a period of 3 years. We will provide a whole network of supportive services around the veterans. So not just what we would typically do for a Habitat family, but a whole host of other programs like peer-to-peer counseling, a trauma-informed art therapy program called The Window Between Worlds, where will be open to the veteran and their whole family, so they can deal with some of the trauma that they've had to go through over the years, in their years of service.
Now, any of those homes that you're building under that program, are any of them designed to meet any special needs a veteran might have, or are you pretty much focused on, I kind of hate to make this comparison, but are you pretty much focused on vets that are coming back that don't have any visual injuries, like a loss of a limb, or where they're wheelchair bound and have special needs?
It's both. And the homes will be built based with the needs of the veteran in mind. So if they need adjustable cabinets, if they need wheelchair access, we've actually designed the homes to have those ramps built in the garage, so that to get out of their car, they can go right up the ramp into their house. So they will be ADA compliant and built specifically for that veteran family. So
at the time, with this program, at the time you actually begin to build, you've obviously already identified the individual, or in this case family, that is going to be occupying that house. So you can build it according to the needs.
Exactly. We're also building them with all of our homes now, and most habitats throughout the country are going this route. They're trying to build homes that will allow aging in place. So they're built with wider doorways. We build them with, you can't always in every part of the country, but we're lucky enough here in Riverside County, we're able to do single-story homes for the most part, which means that they're much easier to make, it easy to do aging in place. Separate shower and tub in the master, which is different for most habitats, but all of these homes will have that separate shower and tub.
So the story of Habitat is really one of you're very much evolving to meet the needs, to meet the ever-changing needs of the communities that you serve.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In terms of funding, I know we talked briefly again off camera about the restore. But what are some of the other funding mechanisms that are available to you to enhance the program and enable yourself to be able to continue?
With our repair programs, we leverage some government funding through CDGB, which we compete for, like most other nonprofits. So a lot of our repair programs are funded, like the City of Moreno Valley, City of Corona, and the City of Riverside all have awarded us CDGB funds for some of our home repair programs, especially for seniors. But for new builds, we typically will raise money privately. The Restore pretty much funds most of our operating costs, so that's covered, which is a blessing for a nonprofit. If you've been involved with nonprofits, you know that's covering your operating costs is always your number one priority. You can't do much without that. And then we've been blessed by a lot of the banks. The banks have been wonderful in Southern California. And I'd have to include just about every bank in Southern California has at some point been able to support us with our new builds, which is huge. There is some HUD money available. We work with the county on down payment assistance programs in each of the cities. So a lot of our homeowners, we work them through ask them to get involved with those programs, and they save. There's a great program called the Individual Development Account through the County of Riverside. If the homeowner saves money, the county matches it, which helps with their down payment, which gets them off on the right start down the road.
Which agency is that affiliated with?
We work through Community
Action Partnership.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, they're the ones that manage that program. And actually, a lot of the cities have a down payment assistance program. Not all of them, but most of them do. So we encourage our homeowners to do that too. Other funding comes from private parties. We do a great fundraiser we started this year called Over the Edge, where you actually rappel down the side of Mount Rubidoux Manor, 16 stories.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of like a 5K or a 10K, you know.
Is that the one that Mark Hawkins?
Yes, he did. Mark did. Yeah. Mark went down in his red and white striped pants. Yeah.
And what do they get people to sponsor them?
It's like a 5K or a 10K. You get people to sponsor your rappelling event down the side of the building. We did quite well with that, and in our first year we've ever done it. We'll be doing it again this year, this coming year, 2017.
Well, you know, I think certainly as an individual makes comparisons between nonprofits, the fact, and I think it is becoming more and more important with people who are philanthropic and want to be involved, particularly if it's just making donations, is the real issue of, what percentage of that dollar is getting back to the program. And so obviously the Restore helps you a lot in
absolutely. When you make a donation, and you can actually make a donation to go to a particular program. So if you're making a donation, your heart is behind veterans, you can make a donation to the Veterans Build, and it will go toward building those homes. So we've had organizations. Jack and Jill of America is sponsoring one of our veteran homes, which is amazing. It's incredible.
Well, and I think there's a real affinity in today's world to really make certain that our vets are being taken care of, because for many, many years they weren't. We're kind of getting near the end of the show, but we've talked about a couple of different ways people can be involved in Habitat. Obviously, the one that really strikes a chord with me is just participating in a build, because I think you really feel like you're really part of something that is tangible and right in front of you. We've obviously talked about just people being tuned into the fact that if there are things that they need for home improvement projects, that they can go to the Restore and they're helping themselves, because they're probably buying a product, a fixture, or something that below cost, below what they would pay to go into a Home Depot or a Lowe's, with that money going back again to the organization. But are there any other things that would resonate with people in ways that they could help Habitat without being really focused on those two things?
We leverage a ton of what we call gifts in kind, especially for a build. We have electricians, we have plumbers, we have people who are specialized in laying flooring, who donate their time and their expertise. Their expertise is so important.
Sure.
Because when you're working with volunteers, they don't all they don't all have the.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's fun. But when you get companies that are professionals that come out and work with the volunteers, amazing things can happen because they know what they're doing and they know how to help people. What's really amazing is the volunteers actually learn how to do stuff to repair their own houses, which is great. So the gifts in kind is huge. Companies that can donate, or homeowners that are remodeling their own home. If they donate, instead of putting that stuff in a landfill and a dumpster, if it's usable, we'll sell it in the restore, or we use all new products when we're building homes. One of the most important things is all of our new homes, and I don't think we talked about this, but all of our new homes are built to be sustainable long-term. So they get tankless hot water heaters. We partner up with Grid Alternatives and we put solar panels on all of our homes, so it keeps the energy bills down. Radiant barrier in the roofs. We exceed Cal building codes for green building, low impact landscaping. Toro is a great partner for us with landscaping products. They'll help us with irrigation, timers and controllers.
Well, our show is limited to 30 minutes, and certainly I think, as it relates to Habitat, we could probably spend a couple of hours talking about the program, because I think for people who've been involved or are familiar with the story, they really do understand and appreciate the tangible results that come out of what you do. And so we obviously don't have more time, so I certainly want to thank you for coming in today and sharing with us on Habitat. And I actually got your last name right. We kind of joked about that on the.
That's why when you're volunteering for us, we just put your first name on the back of your helmet, your hard hat.
So we are certainly going to share with our viewers the website and contact information, and
absolutely,
encourage them to want to be involved and to want to be involved for the right reason. So thank you very much for.
Thank you, Carrie, for inviting us out.
Thank you. Clearly, the organization's focus is multifaceted, serving to provide a larger segment of the community with the opportunity to participate in the vision and mission of Habitat for Humanity, which is a noble and achievable goal that plays itself out countless times throughout the year. For more information on Habitat for Humanity, I encourage you to visit their website and explore the numerous ways you can support this worthy organization. Take it from one who has participated in a build. You will receive so much personal satisfaction in knowing that you have made a tangible and meaningful contribution in what is a life-altering event for some deserving family, that you'll be asking to participate again. However, keep in mind that this is only one of many ways you can help. Go to habitatriverside.org or call 951-787-6754 for more information. As always, RCBN and today's sponsor, Raceway Ford Riverside, encourages you to support this great organization or any of the nonprofits featured in our programs. Your generous contributions will go directly to programs that serve our community. If you would like to join us here in the studio to tell your story or to talk about what your organization is doing for the community, visit us at rcbnnews.org and complete the form on the Contact Us page, or simply give us a call at 951-697-3098 and let us help you get your story out. For RCBN's Nonprofit Showcase, I'm Carrie Pendergast.
This program is made possible by a generous donation from Raceway Ford in Riverside. Raceway Ford would like to take this opportunity to thank the community and our customers for their continued support. As the premier Ford dealership in the Riverside and Inland Empire area, we are proud to say that we've served the transportation needs of Southern California residents for over 25 years with an attitude of integrity and a commitment to our customers and our community. Get the car you want at the price you want today. Raceway Ford in Riverside, your community dealership. And by the All-Tech Media Group, the region's leading multimedia video production and marketing company, creating powerful and innovative marketing strategies that deliver exponential returns.